Your parents lied to you. Your teachers lied to you. That motivational speaker you follow on Instagram, yeah, they're lying to you too. And the reason you feel like garbage right now, despite checking off every box society told you to check, isn't because you're broken. It's because the entire game was rigged from the start. Let me be clear about what we're doing here. This isn't one of those feel-good videos where I tell you to find your passion or believe in yourself or whatever other nonsense gets thrown around. This is about why you're miserable, why that six-figure salary didn't fix you, why getting the promotion made you feel worse, why every single thing you achieve leaves you hungrier, emptier, more desperate than before. We're talking about the success trap, and I guarantee you're in it right now, whether you want to admit it or not. You know that feeling when you finally get something you've been working toward for months or years, and instead of joy, you just feel nothing? Like you're standing there thinking, that's it? That hollow, sinking realization that the finish line you killed yourself to reach was just another starting line? That's not a bug in your brain. That's not you being ungrateful or broken. That's the trap doing exactly what it was designed to do. Because here's what nobody tells you. The entire system, this whole achievement obsession we're drowning in, it's not designed to make you happy. It's designed to keep you running, to keep you producing, to keep you so busy chasing the next thing that you never stop to ask why you're running in the first place. Think about your life right now. Really, think about it. How much of what you're doing is because you actually want to do it? And how much is because you're terrified of what happens if you stop? How much of your identity is wrapped up in your job title, your bank account, your achievements? Strip all that away and ask yourself, who are you? And if that question makes you uncomfortable, good. Sit with that discomfort, because that's where the truth lives. We've been trained since birth to believe that happiness is something you earn, that fulfillment is a reward for hard work, that if you just achieve enough, become successful enough, prove yourself enough, then finally, you'll get to rest, you'll get to be happy, you'll get to feel like you're enough. But it's a lie, and the proof is everywhere. Look at the celebrities who have everything and still end up miserable or worse. Look at the millionaires and billionaires who can't stop working, can't stop acquiring, can't stop chasing more. Look at yourself, honestly, and count how many goals you've hit that actually made you feel satisfied for longer than a week. The happiness doesn't come. It never comes. Because the system isn't broken. It's working exactly as intended. You're supposed to feel empty after you achieve something. You're supposed to immediately start looking for the next goal. That emptiness isn't a flaw, it's a feature. It's what keeps you obedient, productive, and profitable to everyone selling you the dream. Let me tell you how this trap works, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. And warning, this might hurt. You grow up being measured. Your worth gets calculated by grades, by trophies, by how well you perform. You learn fast that love and approval aren't free. They come with conditions. Be good, get praised. Be successful, get celebrated. Fail, and watch how quickly people's affection vanishes. So you internalize this message that your value as a human being depends on what you accomplish. And this becomes your operating system. You start believing that you're not enough as you are, that you need to achieve something to deserve happiness, respect, love. Your entire self-worth becomes tied to external validation and measurable success. So you set goals. You tell yourself, when I get that degree, then I'll be happy. When I get that job, then I'll feel secure. When I make that much money, then I'll finally relax. When I hit that milestone, then I'll be enough. And you work for it. You sacrifice sleep, health, relationships, your actual life, all for this future version of happiness you've been promised. You hustle, you grind, you do whatever it takes. And eventually, you get there. You hit the goal. And for a brief, shining moment, you feel good. You feel accomplished. You think, this is it, I made it. But then something happens that nobody warned you about. The feeling fades, fast. Within days or weeks, that achievement that you thought would change everything just becomes your new normal. The excitement dies, the satisfaction evaporates, and that gnawing feeling of not enough creeps back in. Except now the goalpost is moved. Now you're looking at the next level up. Now you need more. A bigger title, a higher salary, a better house, more followers, more recognition, more anything. Because if this achievement didn't fill the hole, maybe the next one will. Maybe you just didn't aim high enough. Maybe you need to work harder. And the cycle continues. forever, until you die or burn out, whichever comes first. This isn't my opinion, by the way. This is documented psychological reality. Scientists call it hedonic adaptation, and it's been proven over and over. Studies show that people who win millions in the lottery return to their baseline happiness within a year. People who achieve major career success, same thing. The happiness boost is temporary. Always temporary. Your brain adapts, recalibrates, and returns you to roughly the same emotional baseline you've always had.
But we ignore this data because accepting it means admitting something terrifying, that maybe everything we've been told about success and happiness is wrong, that maybe all this suffering has been pointless, that maybe the entire framework we've built our lives around is fundamentally broken. And this is where it gets really dark. Because there was this philosopher, Arthur Schopenhauer, who figured this out in the 1800s. He said that life is basically suffering, and the cause of that suffering is wanting itself. He called it the will, this unstoppable force inside us that constantly desires, constantly craves, constantly reaches for the next thing. His insight was brutal but accurate. We're trapped in a cycle. We want something, we suffer because we don't have it. We get it, we feel briefly satisfied. Then the wanting starts again. It's endless, like being hungry, eating, feeling full for an hour, then being hungry again, over and over until you're dead. And he'd look at our modern world and probably have a complete breakdown, because we haven't just accepted this cycle, we've celebrated it. We've turned suffering into a virtue. We've made millionaires selling courses on how to optimize your suffering. We've got influencers bragging about their morning routines and their productivity hacks. They're not trying to help you, they're trying to make you feel inadequate so you'll buy what they're selling. They profit from your insecurity, from your fear that you're not doing enough, being enough, achieving enough. And the corporations, they benefit even more. They need you to believe that success equals happiness because it keeps you working. It keeps you competing with your coworkers instead of questioning why you're sacrificing your life for a company that would replace you in a week. It keeps you too tired and too busy to organize, to demand better, to realize that maybe the problem isn't that you're not trying hard enough. Maybe the problem is the system itself. You want to know why rates of anxiety and depression keep climbing despite us being wealthier and more connected than ever? Because we're living in a society that's structured to make us miserable. We've created a world where your worth is measured by your productivity, where rest is seen as laziness, where enough never exists because there's always someone doing more. We're told to find our passion, as if work is supposed to be the source of all meaning in life. We're told that if we're not constantly improving, we're falling behind. We're sold this idea that sleep is for the weak and boundaries are for people who don't want it bad enough. And we buy it. We internalize these messages until they become our inner voice, until we're the ones pushing ourselves harder than any boss ever could, until we've turned ourselves into our own prison guards. Let me introduce you to another philosopher who understood this trap, Albert Camus. He wrote about the absurd, this idea that humans desperately crave meaning in a universe that offers none. We want answers, purpose, reasons, but the universe doesn't care, it just is. And Camus said we have three options when facing the absurd. We can deny it, distract ourselves with false meaning, we can escape it through, well, the permanent escape, or we can accept it, acknowledge the meaninglessness, and choose to live anyway. Most of us pick option one without realizing it. We distract ourselves with goals, with achievements, with the endless pursuit of success. We convince ourselves that if we just accomplish enough, we'll finally find that meaning we're looking for. We'll finally prove our existence was worthwhile. But it's a distraction, a really effective one, sure, but still just a way of avoiding the fundamental question of existence. Camus talked about Sisyphus, this guy from Greek mythology who was punished by the gods to push a boulder up a hill for eternity. Every time he gets near the top, the boulder rolls back down and he has to start over, forever. Sound familiar? That's your relationship with success. You push towards a goal, you get close, you maybe even reach it briefly, then you're back at the bottom starting over with a new goal. The boulder never stays at the top, the achievement never lasts, but you keep pushing because what else are you going to do? Camus said we must imagine Sisyphus happy, not because the task has meaning, but because he accepts the absurdity and chooses to push the boulder anyway. He finds freedom in acknowledging that the task is pointless. But here's what Camus didn't have to deal with. Sisyphus wasn't being told that if he just pushed harder, if he just optimized his boulder pushing technique, if he just hustled more, then maybe this time the boulder would stay at the top. Sisyphus wasn't surrounded by other boulder pushers on social media bragging about how high they got their boulder today. Sisyphus wasn't being sold courses on boulder pushing strategies by people who made their money teaching others to push boulders, not by actually getting boulders to the top. We live in a world that's taken the myth of Sisyphus and turned it into a lifestyle brand. We've monetized the boulder. We've made boulder pushing competitions. We've convinced ourselves that our boulder is different, that our hill is special, that if we just keep at it, we'll be the ones who finally break the curse. But the curse isn't breakable. That's the point. The success trap isn't something you can achieve your way out of, because the trap is achievement itself. And this is where people usually get defensive. I can already hear the comments. So what? We should just give up? Stop trying? Be lazy losers? No, that's not what I'm saying. But that defensive reaction tells you something, doesn't it? The fact that the only alternative to endless achievement you can imagine is complete failure shows how deep the programming goes. What if there's a third option? What if you could do things, pursue goals, work on projects, not because you think they'll finally make you happy, but just because you choose to? What if you could achieve without attaching your entire self-worth to the outcome? What if you could succeed or fail and still be okay, because your value as a human isn't dependent on what you accomplish? Sounds nice, right? Sounds impossible, probably, because we've spent our entire lives learning that we are what we achieve, that our worth is measured by our output, that love and respect and belonging are things we earn through performance. But it doesn't have to be this way. The trap only works if you believe the premise that success equals happiness, that achievement equals fulfillment, that more is always better. What if you questioned that premise? What if you look at your life right now with all its achievements and failures and ask yourself, what if this is it? What if there is no future moment where everything finally clicks into place? What if happiness isn't something you achieve, but something you choose in spite of not achieving enough? This is uncomfortable because it means taking responsibility, not for your success or failure, but for your happiness. You can't blame your emptiness on not having reached the goal yet. You can't delay your life until some future moment when you finally made it. You have to face the reality that you might achieve everything you think you want and still feel empty. And if that's true, if achievement doesn't lead to lasting happiness, then why are you sacrificing everything for it? Why are you destroying your health, your relationships, your actual present moment life for a future that, even if you reach it, won't deliver what you think it will? I'm not saying don't have goals. I'm not saying don't work hard or try to improve your life, but do it with your eyes open. Do it knowing that the achievement won't save you, that the success won't fill the void, that you're choosing to do it anyway, not because you'll be happy when you get there, but because the doing itself is enough. This requires a massive shift in how you see yourself and the world. It means disconnecting your self-worth from your achievements. It means finding value in being, not just doing. It means sitting with the emptiness instead of running from it. And yeah, that's hard. That might be the hardest thing you ever do. Because when you stop running, when you stop distracting yourself with the next goal, you have to face yourself. All the parts you've been avoiding, all the questions you've been too busy to ask, all the emptiness you've been trying to fill with achievements. And here's what you'll find. The emptiness doesn't actually need to be filled. It's not a problem to be solved. It's just there, part of the human experience, part of being conscious in a weird, confusing universe that doesn't come with answers. You know what's funny? Some of the happiest people I know aren't the most successful. They're the ones who stopped playing the game, who opted out of the competition, who decided that their worth wasn't up for debate based on what they achieved. They still work, still have goals, still do things, but they're not doing it because they think it'll finally make them enough. They're doing it because they already know they're enough, regardless of the outcome. And that's the real trap within the trap, the meta trap, if you will. We think we need to achieve to be enough, but the moment we realize we're already enough, achievement stops being this desperate, clawing, never-ending chase. It just becomes something you do or don't do. It loses its power over you. But getting to that realization, that requires going through the fire. That requires facing all the programming, all the conditioning, all the voices in your head that say you're only as valuable as your last accomplishment. That requires sitting with the possibility that maybe your parents were wrong, maybe your teachers were wrong, Maybe the entire culture you grew up in got it backwards. And that's lonely, that's scary. Because if you step out of the race, you step out of the only game most people know how to play. You stop speaking the same language as everyone around you. Your friends are comparing salaries and job titles, and you're over here like, what if none of that actually matters? People will think you're crazy. They'll think you've given up. They'll project their own fears onto you because your choice not to play challenges the only thing giving their suffering meaning. If you can be happy without achieving everything they think you need to achieve, what does that say about their choices? So they'll push back. They'll tell you you're being unrealistic, that you're lazy, that you're not living up to your potential. And you have to be strong enough to know that their reaction has nothing to do with you and everything to do with their own investment in the trap. This is the hardest part. Not the achieving, not the succeeding or failing, but the standing alone in your realization that the game itself was always rigged, that there was never a prize at the end worth the cost of playing. But here's the thing, and this might be the most important thing I say in this entire video. Once you see the trap, once you really understand how it works, you can't unsee it. Every time someone brags about their hustle, you'll see the desperation underneath. Every time you're tempted to tie your worth to an achievement, you'll catch yourself. Every time you feel that emptiness after hitting a goal, you'll recognize it for what it is, not a personal failing, but the system working exactly as designed. And that awareness is the beginning of freedom, not the arrival at freedom, because there's no destination, remember? But the beginning of the journey toward living a life that isn't defined by the trap. You'll still feel empty sometimes, you'll still want things, you'll still achieve goals and feel disappointed when they don't deliver what you hoped, but you'll know what's happening, you'll see it clearly. And in that seeing, there's a choice. You can keep running, or you can stop. You can keep believing the lie, or you can acknowledge the truth. The truth is this: you are not your achievements. Your worth is not measured by your productivity. Your value as a human being is not up for debate. You don't need to earn the right to be happy, to rest, to exist. You already have that right. You've always had it. You just forgot because everyone around you forgot too. The success trap works because we all agree to pretend it's real. We all nod along when someone says they're grinding, hustling, working toward their goals. We all pretend that the exhaustion is temporary, that the emptiness after achievement is just a minor setback, that the next goal will definitely be the one that finally satisfies us. But what if we stopped pretending? What if we admitted that we're all exhausted, all empty, all running on a treadmill that goes nowhere? What if we acknowledged that the emperor has no clothes, that success culture is just capitalism wearing a motivational quote? Things might start to change. Not immediately, not easily, but if enough people woke up to the trap, if enough people stopped measuring their worth by their achievements, if enough people chose to value being over doing, the whole system would have to shift. Because the system needs your compliance. It needs you to believe that you're not enough, that you need to achieve more, be more, do more. It needs your dissatisfaction to function. Your anxiety is what keeps the machine running. But you can choose to step out, not into laziness or giving up, but into a different way of being. One where you work because you choose to, not because you think it'll make you worthy. One where you pursue goals because the pursuit is meaningful to you, not because you're running from emptiness. One where you rest without guilt, exist without justification, and measure your life by standards you choose, not ones handed to you by a culture that profits from your inadequacy. This isn't easy. I'm not going to lie to you and say there's a simple fix. There's no 5-step program for escaping the success trap. No course you can buy, no book you can read, no achievement you can unlock that gives you freedom from the cycle of achievement. The only way out is through the discomfort of questioning everything you've been taught, through the loneliness of walking a different path, through the fear of being enough without needing to prove it, through the grief of realizing how much time you've spent chasing things that were never going to satisfy you. But on the other side of that process, there's something real. Not happiness, not fulfillment, not the absence of emptiness, but something more valuable: the freedom to choose, the ability to see clearly, the power to live according to your own values instead of ones programmed into you by a system that doesn't care if you suffer as long as you produce. So where does this leave you? Right here, right now, with a choice. You can close this video, go back to the grind, keep telling yourself that the next achievement will be different, or you can sit with what you've heard here. Let it sink in. question the assumptions you've been carrying. Look honestly at your own life and ask yourself, am I happy? Am I fulfilled? Or am I just successfully miserable? The trap is real. It's everywhere. It's in your head, in your culture, in every message you receive about what it means to be successful. But traps only work if you don't see them. And now you see it. So what are you going to do?